Cheryl Bentyne has been gracing us with her smooth vocals for over 45 years. Born in 1954, Bentyne was raised in rural surroundings of Mount Vernon, Washington, the very opposite to the bustling scene we conjure up with jazz music. Nonetheless, her parents were well familiarized with music, as her father was part of a local band which championed Dixieland music. Dixieland refers to the revival of traditional jazz music that foregrounds features such as a two-beat rhythm and trumpets, rather than experimentation which other artists began to introduce. Her mother, as a result, spent much of her time driving around and catering to the general life of her husband's touring lifestyle. As she reached her teenage years, Cheryl Bentyne followed in her father's footsteps quite literally. Attending piano lessons and singing in her father's band, Bentyne involved herself in music naturally as it took hold of her childhood. Enrolling for music and theater at Skagit Valley College, she shortly dropped out to pursue a musical career in Seattle. Upon moving, she became the lead singer of the New Deal Rhythm Band. The New Deal Rhythm Band created these albums of swing music. Then she moved over to Los Angeles and juggled waitressing, singing lessons, and singing at the Blah Blah Cafe. Bentyne also had a manager at this time, Linda Friedman, who encouraged her to audition for the Manhattan Transfer. The Manhattan Transfer is prominent in Cheryl Bentyne's career. The band consists of 4 jazz vocalists: Bentyne, Alan Paul, Janice Siegel, and Trist Curlis. Although the music is mainly vocal jazz, the Manhattan Transfer combine pop, swing, and R&B tendencies, creating a colorful discography. Cheryl Bentyne's artistry has undoubtedly been influenced by the hybrid nature of the band, which to this day she is part of alongside her solo career. Their 5th album, Extensions, was the first release with Bentyne as a band member and was a fusion of jazz pop. It was a commercial success, topping the Billboard Pop album charts in 1979 and carrying charting singles such as Trickle Trickle and Twilight Zone Twilight Tone. The 1980s brought subsequent album releases for Bentyne by the Manhattan Transfer. However, at the beginning of the 90s, she began her solo career. Its beginnings were marked with Something Cool, a 10-track debut encompassing traditional pop characteristics with jazz-like production, courtesy of Mark Isham. Isham was a trumpeter for the album, as well as the producer. Scattered with renditions of iconic songs, one of the most notable tracks is Bentyne's cover of Fever, where her voice showcases itself with sultry, controlled energy. Mecca for Moderns was the band's 6th album and presented a mixture of familiar past musical endeavors with a sonic, contemporary approach. This mix resulted in an innovative effort that placed the band as frontrunners in the genre of jazz vocals. Whilst their next album, Bodies and Souls, in '83, continued the experimentation further into the realm of R&B. Featuring big names including Stevie Wonder and Rod Temperton, there was an evident smoothness and melody never before heard. Its 3rd track, Mystery, is a luscious layering of dreamy synths, groovy bass lines, and of course Bentyne's gorgeously powerful vocals, all reminiscent of the funk-infused R&B emerging in their contemporaries. There also included a short but sweet saxophone solo that brought in the soul and jazz of their usual style. Between their regular studio album releases, the Manhattan Transfer was releasing best-of compilations and live albums, meaning that for much of the 80s, Bentyne was consumed by her band's activity. Considering this, it is no surprise that Cheryl Bentyne's solo career did not fully materialize until the following decade. As a soprano singer, Cheryl Bentyne's voice unites her solo and band work together. In the 1990s, she released only her debut album and did not produce a follow-up until 2003. In the meantime, she ventured further out in terms of collaborations. Crossing over into other art forms, Bentyne wrote an album for neo-noir film Mortal Thoughts, directed by Alan Rudolph in 1991, projecting her voice into an eerie tale of a police interrogation. Featuring her voice in the film provided a cinematic edge to her work, which would carry through her later discography. More recently, Cheryl Bentyne's speaking voice has been of great use. She made her audiobook debut featuring in Randy L. Schmidt's Little Girl Blue, The Life of Karen Carpenter. She offers highly expressive emotion, from the jazzy highs in the Manhattan Transfer to the sorrowful reflection of Karen Carpenter's life in Little Blue Girl. Since the turn of the new century, Cheryl Bentyne has been very active in her solo efforts, mixing her albums with collaborative ones. She has focused predominantly on her beloved vocal jazz, including some gorgeous renditions of classic songs. On her 2003 album, Among Friends, it is free-flowing sonically and embarks on a slower pace. It is not as tight as her quartet's music, but instead meanders on giving each instrument its deserved airtime. On her cover of Frank Sinatra's The Very Thought of You, there is a brilliant twang from a guitar solo. Its delicacy is followed with Bentyne's breathy, sometimes borderline whispers, vocals, and piano keys that feel self-aware of the spatiality. Similarly, in the following track, Farmer's Market, time is given over to the full-bodied life of instrumentation. This is an especially strong song to demonstrate Bentyne's range and skill as she adopts a rather playful tone similar to bebop. Her pitch moves up and down the scale at a fast rate, at times feeling unpredictable and endlessly exciting. It is a true treat for the ears. Cheryl Bentyne has not failed in continuing an exciting musical career, releasing another 7 albums. One of these albums is a joint effort with Platinum Award winner Mark Winkler, entitled West Coast Cool. In this album, the duo pays homage to the 1950s movement of West Coast jazz, which takes a calmer approach than other types of jazz. Despite its calmness, it remains just as exciting as Bentyne's other material. An occasional man presents this careful balance as Bentyne slowly raises her voice both in power and pitch as the instruments lead. More recently, Cheryl Bentyne has released another album with Winkler, this time named Eastern Standard Time in 2018. From the flirty, Latin-infused You Smell So Good to the melancholic guitar strumming of Spring Could Really Hang You Up the Most, there are wide-ranging influences that keep Bentyne's work as contemporary as ever. Demonstrating an effortless talent in producing ever-relevant music, Cheryl Bentyne continues to attract jazz fans of all ages. Now, with 14 records in her discography, she shows no signs of stopping. Even after a short break after a cancer diagnosis, Cheryl Bentyne came back to music. You can check out the Carliv Spotify to listen to the original tracks of the artist. It's a curated playlist with the most popular songs.